Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Aarushi Gupta. Now for today's Literary Tuesday video, I decided to recite a poem and talk about the poem Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. This is a very short poem, but it is one of my favorite poems. I would rather say probably the favorite poem of mine because I feel it is the essence of life in a way. I was introduced to this poem by the brilliant book Fault in Our Stars again. So I talk about it a lot because it is very close to my heart. Hazel Grace had written something with respect to Augustus Waters after the main thing had happened. I don't want to give out any spoilers. So she had talked about how, no matter how the circumstances might have turned out, she believes that whatever infinity she had with Augustus was enough, because probably it wouldn't have stayed either, because there she gives reference to this poem Nothing Gold Can Stay, and she believed that the relationship that she and Augustus Waters shared was as pure and as precious as gold. So there she gave the reference, and I just decided to surf the internet for this poem, and oh my god, I fell in love with this poem. In fact, to give an extra information, which you might not need, but still, okay. The first video that I had put on this YouTube channel that I had talked about in the first video on the 17th of September 2020, which now is private, was on this poem. It was a 15-minute long video that I had dedicated to my interpretation of this particular poem. So I hope this one does not get too elongated, because this is really close to my heart, so I might go on blabbering stuff about it. So please bear with me. Okay, so first of all, I'll recite it and then I'll talk about my interpretation. Okay, I'll start. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Sorry, that was the alarm. Oh my god. Okay, I'll start again. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down today, nothing gold can stay. This is a very short poem, but my interpretation might go on and on. So, first of all, starting with nature's first green is gold. Now, green here is and gold, both are colors, but actually they've been used metaphorically. Green, because it is saying first green, first of all. So the narrator, the writer, Robert Frost, the poet wants you to stop there because he's emphasizing in the word first green. So we somewhere kind of emphasize on that. Green here represents freshness, something that is new, something that is fresh. So anything that is green, anything that is new, here with reference to nature, is gold. Now, gold here again is not only the color, it's a metaphor. Gold, it's not only the golden color, it's the prestige that it is talking about, how precious the gold metal is. So the first green of nature, as in the first leaf of nature, or the first whatever flower or something that the nature bears, the tree bears, is gold, is as precious as the gold. But metaphorically, anything that is new, or anything that we start afresh, it's very precious to us, it's close to our heart. But in the very next line, he says, her hardest hue to hold, which means hue is like, a shade of a color. So he says that this golden color, that green color has actually been associated to, it is the hardest hue for the nature to hold, which means that this prestige, this importance that we give to something or someone who is or which is or who is new in our life, that importance or the same kind of priority that we give to them, it's very difficult to be consistent with it, because as time passes by, it's human nature to start taking things for granted, and we don't really value it as much as we did when we first got it or when we wanted it to begin with. So, okay. So nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. So her early leaves a flower. I think what my interpretation is that, like for most of the people, not talking about the ones who are really in love with nature, like the proper nature lovers. Generally, people, they do not value a leaf as much as they value a flower, because a flower is colorful, a flower is vibrant, and all the good things and all the bright things. But a leaf is a leaf. Like, they don't really value it as much. But he says that the early leaf, the new leaf that comes up on a tree, it's so lush green. Or even the new early leaf can also refer to the leaf in the morning. So when the dewdrops are there on the leaf, it's very pretty. So he says that the early leaf is as precious, as adored by people as a flower is. So her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Like when that period of dawn goes away, when sun sets in and stuff, the dewdrops go away and everything, and the aura that it had around, I don't know what other word to use instead of aura, um, it also vanishes. People stop adoring it as much. So the early leaf is like a flower, is as precious as a flower for in the beginning, but only so an hour, like probably just for an hour and not after that. Then he says that then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. Then he says that after that 1 hour is over of the flower being of the leaf being adored and stuff, after that the leaf subsides to leaf. Subsides basically in general, it means when something is in a position A, when it falls to position B, something that is not as good as the earlier position, then we say that, oh, that is subsided to it, you know. So the leaf subsides to leaf, which means in a way he's saying that its quality has deteriorated, but it has still remained the same thing. It was a leaf, it is a leaf, but in our eyes, it has subsided. So our perception, I think it's a metaphor to how our perception about the same thing with the same people changes over a period of time, or even on the other hand, the kind of importance we give them, it also changes with time, even though they remain the same. So Eden sank to grief. Eden is basically, in biblical terms, like in Christianity, um, it is a garden. It was the garden where Adam and Eve used to live. So I studied in Presentation Convent, till class ninth. So we have, we used to be taught about such things. So I knew about the Garden of Eden before, and that is something that really struck me when I read this poem. So Eden sank to grief. I felt that it's like, again, metaphor. I keep using the word metaphor, but okay. Eden is something, because it's mentioned in the biblical, terms in Bible, it's something holy, right? It is something related to, um, you know, it is, so to say in our terms, pious. But even the Eden, which is, so to say, holy, or so to say pious, even it sinks to grief when even it sinks to grief when it sees that the leaf is no more as adorable as it seemed to be about an hour ago or something. So I feel that it's a relation to, no matter how good a human being is, no matter how sorted, how simple a human being is, you know it is in human nature to, at a point of time, stop giving a particular thing or a particular person as much value, as much importance as we used to in the beginning, no matter how good the person. It's just in human nature. I think, that was the reference to Eden. And also because, of course, leaves grow in gardens. So, of course, to bring that literary freshness and literary luxury to it, I probably think he might have used the word Eden. So, yeah, then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down today, nothing gold can stay. Dawn, when we started with the first green of nature, I said that it's probably in reference to the early morning, the dawn, when the sun hasn't really set in. So that part of the day is called dawn, the early morning when sun hasn't risen yet. So he says that dawn changes today, it goes down today. He could have written changes today, or he could have written the leaf changes to leaf. No, there he used the term subsides, which means that it deteriorated necessarily. Here also he says that dawn goes down today, which means necessarily it has not leveled up but leveled down. So again he says that freshness of the morning, the beautiful, sounds of birds all around and everything, they are no longer there, right? And it has gone down today, and therefore he says that nothing gold can actually stay. So he just says that everything that we think is very nice, is very pretty, and everything, it's not gonna stay. It's gonna end at the end of the day. So I think that is why I really love this poem. Really, I think it's just what life is. It is the essence of life. You know, everything that we to start with we feel is so beautiful. Over a period of time, we tend to find flaws in it. And everything that we think that it is so beautiful that it should never end, there's an expiry date to it. So I think that is why I really like this poem, because it is really, really just summarizes life so beautifully. So yeah, I hope you like this video, and if in case you have any other interpretations of the same poem, I think that's the thing about literature. That's the thing about English that I love the most. Language, basically. There are so many interpretations of it. Like if there are 50 different people reading it, there'll be 50 different meanings of the same poem. And as much as somewhere our education system tries, and it does not try deliberately, but it ends up narrowing down our imagination. I have been very blessed all my life to have brilliant English teachers. Mostly all of my English teachers have been really, really supportive of my imagination. um, they have always encouraged me, of course the entire class and I was a part of it, so to imagine, to give a space to our imagination, to have our own interpretations, no matter what the examiner expects from us. Somewhere in our mind we should have our own version of the same in our particular minds, because that is how you grow, that is how you put your brain muscle into work as well. So yeah, if you have any other interpretation, I'm really open to it. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to read it. So you can put it down in the comments below. But the thing is that recently, I don't know what has happened. I talked about it in some other YouTube video as well, that my comments are getting turned off. I've tried everything under the sky to correct it, but that error is just there. So I wrote a mail to Google as well, but I don't know when would that particular problem be fixed. So in case the comment section is turned off, please know that I haven't turned it off. My Instagram ID is at the rate verbal words fail. If there's anything related to this video or any other video you want to share or any interpretation you have, please message me there. For at least 2 or 3 days, I will check the DMs for this poem. So yeah, thank you so much. I hope you like the video. So okay, I'll see you the next Tuesday. Take care. Bye bye. Stay home. Stay safe again. Take care.